Okay, hi. So we are going to be covering job 13 today. In this job sheet, we are going to be looking at some aspects of data cleaning. Yeah. So how to clean up our data. Now, data in itself might come in many different forms, and when you try and integrate data from different sources, there might be a lot of issues that arise, and these issues can be solved by taking some steps to clean up the data. So I mean clean, what do we actually do? Do we mop the data or do we sweep the data? No, not exactly that. Data cleaning has got a few common steps and a few common things that we tend to look out for. So we're going to cover some of that in this task, yeah. So now the one of the major things in data is handling duplicates. Yeah, handling duplicates in data. So a duplicate is data that is repeated a number of times. Yeah. So for example, if you merge two data sets, you might get duplicates if the merging conditions were not well specified. Okay, so that is one case where you can get duplicates when you take two data and then you join them together and you realize that both the sets have got some duplicates. Okay, now what does duplicates actually do? The problem with duplicates is it might inflate your data set, make your data look bigger. But actually, in reality, let's say you have 20 readings, and if 10 of them are duplicates, then in effect, you only have 10 useful readings in your data. So this is the one of the key ideas behind duplication. Now, the process of removing data is called deduplication. Yeah, it's an interesting word, deduplication. Yeah. Okay. So in order to understand whether your data has got duplicates, you need to actually look at your data first, right? So when you download the data set, you have to perform this exploratory data analysis. Yeah. So to look at your data and see whether there are duplicates or not. Okay, now how do we what are we going to do in this part of the video? We're going to look at this. Yeah, we're going to go to this link. The data sets that we're using is courtesy of Kaggle, the deduplication challenge. So let's go to this link. Okay, it's already open here, but anyway. Yeah, so we are using the data sets from here. Yeah, so duplication just means repeated data. So that's what they're doing here. So in order to remove the duplicates, you need to visualize. Yeah, and then you can actually remove exact duplicates and partial duplicates, but for our exercise you're going to remove exact duplicates first. Okay, so here in this part of this challenge they are using this library which is called tidyverse. uh, we are not going to be using tidyverse, we're going to be exploring two tools. We're using that data, we're going to be performing deduplication using Excel, and then we're going to handle duplicates using pandas. Okay, so now what is duplication? Yeah, more than one record that is exactly the same. Yeah, that is a exact duplicate. There might be cases where there are some parts that are duplicate. This is what we call a record linkage, or a partial duplicate. Okay, so in order to actually find out the duplicate, they will perform some sort of visualization using some tools to see the duplicate. So they are running some tidyverse code here, and you're getting all these duplicates that are being shown in these black lines. The intensity of the line shows the number of duplicates at a particular index. So now, what we want to do is we want to get this data set and use a different tool. We're going to start off with Excel first, yeah, and then we will look at pandas. So if you scroll down all the way, we are going to download this data set. This data set is courtesy of Steam. Some of you might play a lot of games, yeah. So Steam actually has got a lot of games that are hosted there. And if we download this data set, if you click on this, sorry, if you click on this download, right? Okay, so you click on this download, you get a zip file. So if you open up the zip file, and then you open it with Microsoft Excel. Okay, so we are going to look at this. Yeah. So now apparently there are 5 columns here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the last, okay, before we analyze the columns, we realize there's something missing here. These columns don't have headers. Yeah, there's nothing that describe the data. The data starts at row 1. Yeah, there's no header. So we can go back here and then look at what the data is about. For example, the first column is actually user ID. Yeah, the first column is actually user ID. So what we can do, we can just insert a new column. Yeah, and let's call this user ID. And then this is the second column is the name of the Steam game. Yeah, so there are a lot of games in Steam. Name of the Steam game. Okay. Now the third column is here is the behavior name. Now, if we see a pattern, there's a summary here that is provided by in this environment in Kaggle. They summarize what are the values. So there's only 2 categorical values here. It's either purchase or they play. Yeah. So the action this column is called behavior. Yeah, and then there's 2 actions, either they purchase or they play. Now there are some numbers here. Now we need to try in the next column. There are some numbers here. We need to try and make sense of these numbers. So we can see like it's a 1 and a increasing number, a 1 and an increasing number, a 1 and an increasing number. So from this pattern we can see that this 1 is actually always tagged to purchase, and play has got a different number every time. 1 is purchase, play is a different number. 1 is purchase, play is a different number. So in this part we can see here this column, the column name is the column name here is this hours. Yeah, so let's write this down. Hours is if behavior is play. Yeah, so let's see this. If behavior is play, they're telling us the number of hours. If behavior is play, yeah, if behavior is play, this is the number of hours. If behavior is play, this is the number of hours the game was played by this user. Yeah, if behavior is play, this is the number of hours this game was played by this user with this ID. Okay, so and that's how it's going down. Yeah, so theoretically if it's purchase, it's just a 1. Yeah, it's just telling that the first action is they buy, then they play. They buy, they play. They buy, they play. Yeah, so we can later do some analysis like which game has been played the most, number of hours, and so on. Okay, now the last column here doesn't look very meaningful. The last column is actually not meaningful. There's no explanation whatsoever. Yeah, so and the only value that we can find is zeros. Yeah, you see this count, they already summarized this column for us. Count 199 records, 199k records of zeros. Yeah, so it's basically all zeros. Let's observe that. Let's just put a empty header name. I don't know what is this header, and let's go under data, filter, and see whether we got any other values here. Now we see that they are full of zeros. Yeah, so there's not much point in doing any of analyzing this column. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this column away. Not just that, I want to delete. Okay, I'll just delete the column. Okay, so and then let's remove the filter. So this is the Steam dataset that we're going to perform deduplication in. So in the next video, we will start to perform deduplication.